This video is just gonna be a little representation of what my trip to Berlin was like. I feel like I'm being boring. Should I start over? Okay. Hey, it's me, Hannah, again. My voice is kind of gone. I don't know, I have like this weird cough thing. I don't know how to explain it because it's not a cough, but it is definitely making me sound a little bit like a man. So sorry. But also like not that sorry because it's not really something I can control a whole lot. I'm just here to tell you about my trip to Berlin. It was super cool. It was super sad at the time. It started off terrible. Like, I'm not gonna lie. It started off so shitty. Hold on. Before we get to the tea, let's drink some Diet Coke. What happened was, we're literally about to leave. Like, everyone's met up at a place. We're ready to get on the tram to take us to like the main station to go to Berlin. I checked my account because I'm like, okay, so I should transfer some money to my checking so I can get some money out for Berlin. And it's gone. Like, okay, it's gone. Like, I checked my money and at first I'm like, wait, why is there so much in my checking? Because I think I only had like $20 in there. And all of a sudden there's like something. And I was like, why is there so much in my checking? And then I looked at my savings and it was gone, guys. Completely gone. Oh, my heart dropped. I wanted to kill someone. I was so confused. I was like, this does not happen to me. Like, this happens to people when they're abroad, but this does not happen to me while I'm abroad. I was dying. So I didn't know what to do. I just like sat on the ground and like stared at it. Well, I texted my mom 911 because she didn't answer. And then she called me and I was like, oh, my money's gone, all of it. And that's when it hit me and I started sobbing. And everyone was watching me and it was really embarrassing. So like 30 students are just staring at me while I'm just sobbing. I had to call Wells Fargo and like explain to them what happened. I'm guessing it's a he, that's very sexist. The person transferred like from my savings to my checking and then took it out in $500 increment. Oh my gosh. Even thinking about it gets me stressed out. All my money's gone. I called Wells Fargo and they canceled my debit card and that was it. And I was like, dude, you're not listening to me. Like, you're not listening. Like, it's not a debit card issue. It is that they got into my savings. And he like didn't understand. He just kept being like, okay, we can send you a new debit card. And then like my address in Germany has like a weird symbol in it that's not in like the American language. And I couldn't explain it to him and he wasn't getting it. So he has to send my new debit card to my mom's house and then she has to mail it to me in Germany. I'm in Germany, no money, no way to get money because now my debit card's canceled and I don't even know if I'm gonna get my money back. But I have to go to Berlin, so I have to hop on a train like immediately. I'm just on the train, I'm like stressed out, I'm crying, and my mom luckily was able to deal with it in America. So she went to Wells Fargo, closed my checking, closed my savings, opened new ones. So then the first debit card they sent doesn't even matter because it's connected to the old checking. So now they have to send a new debit card. Honestly, the only reason that I had money was because before I left, Chase bank account was having like some deal that like, sign up for a new account and we'll give you $300. And I'm poor, so I signed up for it. But if I had not signed up for that Chase account, I would have had no way to get money at all. Like, I don't even know what I would have done. The moral of the story is I got my money back. Going through the grieving process, basically. Like, if you can grieve losing money, that's what I was doing. Because at first I was like sad and just like crying. And then I was like mad, and then I was like in denial. I was like, no, it didn't happen. This didn't happen. And then I was like, okay, like your money got stolen. It's gonna be okay. This is how you're gonna figure it out. And then I go through it all over again. And it's still annoying because like I only had some money in my checking or my Chase account. So I'm living like, I can't spend any money. I live pretty frugal at the moment. Which is good, I guess, because it's like my own little savings plan. So cheers to the guy that stole all my money. The person that stole all my money. Jeez. And then we got to Berlin at 5 a.m. And then it took an hour to get to our hostel. It was a trip. Like a really nice hostel. It's kind of like known for being a party hostel, which was fine. But it's just like weird to go on like a class trip and everyone's just like drinking and partying. Like I am not used to it at all. Like I was even in culture shock and I drink and party. The first day of Berlin, me and NJ went to the Jewish museum, which was really cool actually. It was more like an artsy museum. Like the whole architecture of the entire place was made for like a specific purpose. They had like a bunch of like empty spaces. The building's super like diagonal, and that was to like represent empty space in the Jews' life during that time, and like how like so much had been taken from them, and then they just had like all these empty spaces and like all the empty spaces and the gaps in their life that was taken away from them. So it was like actually a really cool memorial. And then there's also like this really cool garden part outside with these like leaning towers. They were just like a little off, and there's like a whole garden of them, and they did that to represent that like even when they did escape, like they were in an entirely different country that they've never been to. They had to make an entire new life at this new place, and it was just showing that like how hard it is. Like it's just a little off, and like how it kind of made you like sick and nauseous walking through, and it was just like, yeah, like even though they escaped, like it was still hard. Like you have to like recreate their entire life in like this new place they'd never been to. And I don't think about that because you just think like, oh my gosh, they escaped, that's amazing. It wasn't that easy either. We went out that night, we went to like upside down bar. I don't know, like the first day's a little hazy because I really was so stressed about the money thing. The next day we woke up and we had like hop on, hop off bus tour. It just takes you like all around Berlin to all different stops, and then you just kind of decide when to get off, and then you can get back on later. So we got off at the Jewish Memorial, and that was like the craziest experience. That's what I meant when I said like some of Berlin was sad, because like I was just like crying, because that's like I don't know if the like American education system failed me, or I was just like too young to understand when I was taught about like the Holocaust, but it was just so crazy. Like their government just like completely turned on them, and it was like totally legal for them to like kill Jews in the street, and like just because of a religion. And they had like all these letters from like parents and kids, and then showed like family portraits of like families, and like all of them had died or like one survived. And then there's like one letter that was just like, even if I do survive, like what is there to go back to? It's really humbling, really understand what happened. I'd just be older and get it more, get the devastation of like what they went through. The Holocaust is so crazy. I talked to my student tutors about it because I wanted to know like from a German's perspective what that was like, what they learned, and they were just like, we are so shameful about it. Like it's something in our history we feel so much shame towards and like disgrace. It's like cool that you guys have memorials and stuff for it, even though you're ashamed. I've never been so touched by a memorial. The artistry, the whole thing was just so crazy, and I learned so much. I knew that it happened in Europe. I didn't know that it was like everywhere. I'm probably just sounding dumb right now, but like I'll be the first to admit, like I didn't really listen in school about the Holocaust. I didn't really get it. I realized that all of their rights were just taken away from them, and that they were just like so prosecuted just for religion and just like in pursuit of this perfect race. Like that's so crazy, and it was really cool. And then that night we had like a pub crawl, and it was so fun. All the clubs here play like old 2000s music. They're playing like Britney Spears and Backstreet Boys. It's so much better than America. America is just playing all these stupid top 40 tunes. In Germany, most of the clubs play old school, super good music that you listened to when you were younger and like in middle school. It's a bajillion times better. We didn't get home until like 5 a.m. I did have like one gross guy. German guys are so like creepy. I don't know, they're like so pushy. Like this one guy at the bar like kept talking to me, and like he just kept asking me questions. He'd be like, what are you doing here? And I was like, studying. And he's like, what are you studying? And I was like, PR. And he's like, what's that? And I was like, social media. And then he just was like, he's like, okay, like now you're supposed to ask me questions. And I was just like, I'm not interested. And he looked at me like I was mean, but like I'm with my friends, like I don't want to talk to you, like you can clearly see I'm not interested in my body language, how I'm talking. It was frustrating. The last day, this is actually kind of a funny story, and you'll think I'm dumb once again. We were trying to find our way to the Berlin Wall, and we found this whole wall with like tons of street art on it, and it was like each panel was done by an artist, and I was just like, wow, like my GPS led us to this way cool place we'd never found. And like I was so stoked. I thought it was the coolest thing ever, because it was so long. It's like 2 kilometers or something of just street art, and just like every panel's different and every panel's cool. And then I get to the end, I realized that was the Berlin Wall the whole time. That was the Berlin Wall, and I'm just a dumbass. Not knowing it was the Berlin Wall the entire time was pretty disheartening. At the end, I realized it was, and then I was like, oh, I get it now. I get it. Like, I got it. Americans are dumb. I'm like definitely feeding into that stereotype. And that night we went back to one of the same bars we went to the night before. It was fun. I lost my ID. Picture me about to get into the club, and my ID is just gone. So I'm freaking out. Like, not only did I lose all my money this week, now my ID's gone. I'm just freaking out. So we had to like retrace my steps, and I found it in the on the ground at the train station. Oh, thank God. But like, I was about to like just sit on the ground and cry and be like, I'm done. Berlin sucks. I'm never coming back. Screw up Berlin. But as fun as the trip was, I do have to say this one thing. Germans are screaming when they hear this. I think all German cities kind of look the same. Like, oh, it looks just like the other city we were in. This one looks like this city. Like, they all kind of look the same, except Dusseldorf, which is the only one that's kind of different. But Berlin was like, it was cool because it had all the Holocaust stuff and all the Jewish like memorials, but I didn't think it was like that different looking or like that different of a vibe than like Dortmund, which is like 20 minutes away from me. It was a fun trip. 10 out of 10, would not recommend losing your money or your ID on a trip because you might go a little crazy. Also, I did try to vlog. I did not do a very good job. I have a couple clips. I'm gonna put them at the end just so you can see, but I've decided I don't think that's my thing. Like, I like being in the moment, and I don't like filming myself in front of people. It stresses me out too much, and I don't like filming things while I'm there. And I wasn't that great at it. I'll try to like piece together something, but don't get your hopes up because it's probably gonna be lame. But anyway, yeah, that was my trip to Berlin, and Berlin's cool. That's all I have to say. Okay, so I'm gonna try this vlogging thing. I'll let you guys know how it goes. But everyone's looking at me and I'm already stressed out. I don't know how vloggers do this, but the trip started off shitty because I like checked my bank account to transfer some money over for the trip, and my entire savings has been stolen by some jackass in America. So screw that guy. It was just like a rough start to the trip, just like crying in front of all these people. Anyway, we're on our way to Berlin. We're taking a train to Dortmund and then like a bus to Berlin. It's like overnight. I'm not very excited about that. I have to pee, so hopefully there's a bathroom soon. I packed like 2 sandwiches and gummy worms, so I think I'll be okay. Look, say hi. Yeah. So yeah, basically I'm a mess. Like, I'm smiling through the pain of all of my savings being taken. And thank goodness I have my mother who can put some money in my other account, and thank God I have another account because they like turned off everything. Like, I don't have a card anymore, I can't get any money out of it, I can't do anything. So if I did not have another bank account, I don't even know what to do.